You're listening to Airtime of the Geek.
Hello Ignition Radio listeners and welcome to Airtime of the Geek. It's Monday, it's gone 1 PM GMT if you're listening live via our website or via TuneIn. If you're catching up on YouTube then please like and subscribe to this video and our channel. Comments, queries, suggestions, you can email me. It's paulab@ignitionradio.co.uk. You can also call the studio, the number's 01642 329 620, or check out my website, it's airtimeofthegeek.xyz. Today is Halloween, and every week in October we've been leading up to the Halloween Spooktacular. So, for this week's top 10, continuing with the spookiest month, we are counting down my top 10 found footage movies. Starting with number 10, because it's always more fun for me to do it that way around, is Creep. Not to be confused with the 2004 British film Creep from the same people who made The Descent. This 2014 movie is a horse of a very different colour. Aaron is an optimistic videographer who decides to come to work for Joseph after answering his ad on Craigslist. All Aaron has to do is record Joseph throughout the day and remain discreet about the entire setup. Joseph tells Aaron he'll be recording a series of videos for his unborn son as he's suffering from a terminal illness and will never be able to see him grow up. While Joseph seems strange, the money is too good for Aaron to pass up and he agrees to the task. However, as the day progresses, Joseph becomes increasingly strange and Aaron finds it difficult to tell whether or not some of the things Joseph is saying or doing are truly jokes or a sign of true danger and mental instability. Number 9 is Blair Witch. Blair Witch is a direct sequel to the Blair Witch Project, 2 decades after the disappearance of student filmmaker Heather Donahue and her friends. New footage is found in the woods of Burkittsville. It's posted online and a new group led by Heather's brother James head into the infamous woods with 2 local guides and the benefit of modern technology in the hopes that Heather might still be alive after all this time. Things ultimately take a turn for the worse, but it didn't start out that way, at least not to the general public. If the original Blair Witch Project was known for its viral marketing campaign, what Blair Witch might be best known for is the amount of scenery it went through before its reveal. During production, as the woods only select members of the production staff and the main cast had the actual script during filming. Everyone involved had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Even most people at the distributor, Lionsgate, had no clue of the true nature of the film. Promotion for the film was done as The Woods, with a switch being done during San Diego Comic-Con screening, with social media account names and IMDb details being changed. Even a giant sign in the lobby of Comic-Con screening was changed from The Woods to Blair Witch branding. What resulted was one of the most unexpected horror movie revivals in years. While the first movie, Blair Witch, was a more subtle and mysterious being that was more or less as a background threat, in this film, Blair Witch is truly a force to be reckoned with more aggressively hunting down the cast. No, this was well in keeping with the backstory of the legend, where sometimes the witch would just spook people and drive them insane, and sometimes she drowns a little girl and forces recluses to kill children. Number 8 is Rec 2. Rec 2 is a 2009 Spanish horror film sequel to 2007's Rec and the second instalment of the Rec series. The film was written and directed by John Valerio and Paco Plaza, both of whom returned from the previous film. The story takes place in the immediate aftermath of the first film. Dr. Owens leads a 3-man SWAT team inside a sealed-off building to get blood samples from a girl to develop an antidote. They are attacked, however, by zombie-like creatures, and Dr. Owens locks a zombie inside a room using a crucifix. He discloses that the patient Zero was possessed by the evil and the Vatican sent him to save mankind. Further, they will only leave the building under his voice command. Meanwhile, 3 teenagers follow a fireman that breaks into the building through the sewage system to rescue his colleague and daughter respectively as they are trapped inside. Number 7 is VHS 2. VHS 2 is a 2013 found footage anthology film featuring segments directed by Simon Barner, Adam Wingard, Eduardo Sanchez, Greg Hale, Gareth Evans, Tim Tohano and Jason Eisner. It's a sequel to 2012's VHS. A follow-up sequel entitled VHS Viral was released in 2014. A pair of investigators burst into a house to find a missing college student and discover a bunch of tapes, one among which reveals what happened to him. The segments are tape 49 is the wraparound, which is the investigators themselves. Then phase 1 clinical trials, a man undergoes an experimental procedure which has an eye with a camera put in it which records everything. It's not long before he starts seeing dead people. The second tape is a ride in the park. A bicyclist is attacked by a zombie and becomes one. Followed by Safe Haven, a news channel crew tries to investigate an Indonesian cult. And finally, Slum Party Alien Abduction, which is exactly what it says on the tin. The VHS series is highly recommended, and I don't want to say too much about the plot itself because I don't want to spoil them. Number 6 is My Little Eye. My Little Eye is a 2002 British horror film. It is described as Big Brother meets Friday the 13th, which makes the concept of dead set in a way, since that too is in the horror genre, older than they think. The film starts with 5 young competitors, Emma, Matt, Danny, Charlie and Rex, auditioning for an unnamed reality show. The rules state that they must live in the house for 6 months in order to win $1 million. The catch? If anyone leaves, everyone loses. It continues It continues then as the last few weeks, when people think they're about to miss, they start to plan what they do with the $1 million. However, the stakes are rising as their rations grow shorter, the heat is shut off, Danny's grandfather dies, Rex think it could be the company, but no one else suspects a thing. Tensions rise, and then another mysterious package that has a bottle of champagne and a shotgun appears. Later, a mysterious young man named Travis joins the group for a day, and he and Charlie have sex. Danny is accused of taking Emma's items and makes a gift for her, and that's when things start to go downhill, putting it mildly. It's intense and scary, and it's unlike anything really until Dead Set came along. Comments, queries, suggestions, you can email me. It's paulab@ignitionradio.co.uk. You can also call the studio. It's 01642 329 620, or check out my website, airtimeofthegeek.xyz. Continuing with the top 10 countdown, number 5 is Rec/Quarantine. So Rec is the 2007 Spanish horror film I spoke of earlier. It follows a news reporter, Angela Vidal, and her cameraman, Pablo, as they cover the night shift on one of Barcelona's local fire stations for a fictional documentary, While You Sleep. However, the two intrepid reporters get much more than they bargained for when the firehouse receives a call from an apartment building about a woman who is trapped. They tag along with the rescue effort. Angela and Pablo find themselves actually chronicling the discovery and progression of an apparent zombie apocalypse happening in the apartment building, which forces the police and military to seal off the building, trapping everyone inside. Soon they are forced to fight for their lives as the virus slowly takes over the residents and the firemen around them. In 2008, it was remade in America as Quarantine, a shot-for-shot remake of the original, and in my opinion, both are equally good. So watch the original, please. It is very, very good. And then immediately watch Quarantine afterwards. Number 4 is Troll Hunter. The Troll Hunter is a Norwegian found footage film released in 2010. The movie purports to have found footage sent into a film studio and open and closes with comments from the studio about the fate of the footage and the filmmakers. The film follows 3 film students from a journalist college, Thomas, Callie and Joanna, who are planning to make a documentary about a possible bear poacher and local eccentric identified only as Hans. Hans turns out to be an employee of the Norwegian Troll Safety Department as their government-sanctioned troll hunter, of Norwegian folklore kind of troll, who hunts and kills trolls and comes into contact with people. Although initially reluctant, Hans eventually agrees to take the trio with him on his latest round of troll hunts, citing tiredness of the current policies of the department and figuring out that it's about time that the truth came out. Number 3 is the king of them all, The Blair Witch Project. It's a 1999 horror movie. Why is it only at number 3? Because there are 2 more that are actually better, believe it or not. It's shot entirely in the style of a documentary gone horribly, horribly wrong. 3 college students researching the Blair Witch, and they go on an expedition in a local forest where the legend supposedly started. Things ultimately take a turn for the worse. Now, it's really notable for having one of the best viral marketing campaigns ever, and certainly one of the first to demonstrate the effectiveness of internet advertising, fake online documents, footage, public dossiers, interviews, even a couple of professional-looking TV documentaries that blurred the line between truth and fiction, like few other campaigns have ever done before or since. Many were so convinced that the movie was based on a true story or consisted of actual footage. Even more were suitably convinced that the Blair Witch was a real legend as opposed to something that the filmmakers made up themselves. The film can be credited with being the trope codifier of found footage horror films, a trend that got used so frequently that it got driven into the ground over time, but there have been a few successes.
Spooky!
I don't know if you can hear in the background, but I am being haunted by some spooky ghosts. But I will try and continue with my list. Number 2 is Cannibal Holocaust.
Cannibals!
Released in 1980, it is a controversial exploitation horror film directed by Ruggero Deodato, telling the tale of 4 documentarians who journey deep into the Amazon rainforest to film the indigenous tribes. When they fail to return, anthropologist Harold Monroe leads a second expedition to rescue the first group. He ultimately finds their lost cans of film, through which he learns both of which what happens to the groups. Oh, I've lost my place.
Can we have our hot bags?
No! Controversy followed this infamous video nasty after its premiere in Italy. The film was seized. Deodato was arrested on obscenity charges. He was later accused of making a snuff film due to rumours that actors were killed on camera. While he was cleared on all charges, the film was banned in Italy, the UK and Australia, where it eventually passed uncut, and several other countries due to its graphic nature. And its depiction of gore, sexual violence and the inclusion of 6 genuine animal deaths. In 1981, a rip-off was made by Umberto Lenzi called Cannibal Ferox. And we come to my number 1 choice of my top 10 found footage films. Now that the spooky ghosts seem to have disappeared, it might go a bit smoother. My number 1 choice is VHS. It's a 2012 found footage anthology film directed by Ad Wingard, David Bruckner, Ty West, Glenn McQuaid, Joe Swanberg and Radio Silence. A group of hoodlums are hired by an unknown third party to burgle a desolate house and acquire a rare VHS tape. Upon arriving, they discover a dead body of the owner and stacks of videotapes. As they search for the right one, they are treated to a seemingly endless number of horrifying videos, each stranger than the last. Tape 56 is the frame story. The second is Amateur Night. 3 college guys plan on videotaping their sexual encounters and get more than they bargained for when they pick up a strange woman from the bar. The next is Second Honeymoon. A couple on a road trip are stalked by a mysterious stranger. Followed by Tuesday the 17th, a group of 20-somethings party in a wood and are stalked by an entity that can be only viewed by video recorder. Followed by The Sick Thing That Happened to Emily When She Was Younger. A girl talking with her boyfriend via webcam believes she is being plagued by paranormal phenomenon. And finishing with 10/31/98, a foursome head to a Halloween party only to find that the house that's hosting it is abandoned. That was my top 10 found footage films. And to add to this week's airtime of the Geek, also doing my mini list. It's going to be only very quick, no songs, no explanations. My top 10 Halloween specials. So number 10, Bottom Terror, because its bottom. Number 9, Bob's Burgers, Tina and the Real Ghost. Number 8, South Park, A Nightmare on FaceTime. Number 7, Psychoville, Halloween Special. Number 6, Buffy, Fear Itself. Number 5, The Simpsons, Treehouse of Horror 7. That particular one features The Thing and I, The Genesis Tub, and Citizen Kang. Number 4, League of Gentlemen, You'll Never Leave. It's technically a Christmas special, but it's so terrifying. First time I watched it, I had to watch the best of Clarkson in order to calm down afterwards. Number 3, The Simpsons, Treehouse of Horror 5, which has Time and Punishment, Nightmare Cafeteria, and The Shinning. Number 2, Buffy All the Way. And number 1, Community Epidemiology. Now, Community has several Halloween specials and they're all very, very, very good, but Epidemiology is their zombie episode. So, highly, highly, highly recommended. That's everything from Airtime of the Geek this week. Coming up next, it's going to be James and Jacob and Kinnell, and I believe they're doing a spooky Halloween special. James is in the studio with me right now.
Hi, Jacob.
Is that right, James? You are doing a spooky Halloween special?
Yes, we're going to be looking... We're probably going to talk about stuff and then see if we can find any stupid, haunted stories on the news.
Excellent. So lots of things to look forward to there. I will play a song to lead out, and as my show finishes, you will be joined with Kinnell next.
For your listening pleasure, Airtime of the Geek.